Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show. Obviously, episode 180. Usually, when people say that, it's very good in darts, but I can't lie. This episode is not the best, as we know. As it says in the title, Luton Town all but relegated from the Premier League, and yeah, it does hurt. But again, you look at it. This is my first time proper seeing a relegation, and from people that are a lot more experienced, like my dad, of course, that I'll bring in a second. It's the better one out of the lot because we know, it's still going to be positive, and there is things you do have to look forward to as much as it's, still mathematically, but it's not going to happen. Let's just be real. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, but there's things you got to look at, like I say, parachute payments. You'll be getting stuff like that. Non-season ticket holders like myself or members will actually be able to go to more games. So there is things you have to look at into and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously we'll get into the West Ham game, and then I'm sure we'll discuss a bit more, on the future as a whole at the end. But yeah, like always, like I say, I'm joined with Dad. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, all good, mate.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big up to everyone inside. We will go through some comments. Big up to Paul, says good evening, lads. Big up to yourself, mate. Big up to Chris, says big up, lads. So sorry about your relegation. Hopefully you bounce back. Injuries were the killers. Yeah, and obviously another thing we'll do, we haven't really done it throughout the seasons. We're also going to do like a season review. And then obviously in that, we'll discuss where we thought, the game, which was the game that we looked at and thought, yeah, that was the one that was the turning point to be in the position we're in, and stuff like that. You still prove haters and doubters and human worms wrong. You showed fight and give it your best. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people said we'd finish rock bottom, get worse points than Derby, etc. So again, you have to look at stuff like that as well. I think that it's positive that we didn't, do that. We knew we weren't going to anyway, because we know our team and stuff like that. Like we said, they were in problems, all over the place. And even though we are relegated, we are going to be in a position where we're not going to be like them or how they were in that sense. But we'll be playing them, which will be interesting. So yeah, and again, look at it as well. A lot of away days, certain people haven't done. They'll be able to hopefully do them, including myself as well. So yeah, big up to Early Doors TV. He says big up Tyler. Sorry had to be us. Wish you stayed up. Yeah, it's a bit of a painful one for me as well, even more so. Obviously, I've said as a West Ham fan, but he's sort of, he's, as the season's gone on, I think he's had he's been watching us a lot more, stuff like that. So he hasn't really said about it. He might flick about it every now and then, but it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just sometimes you have to take it, isn't it? It's football. It's one of them. But yeah, I remember, Chris, you had us very high, 12th. We'd have took that definitely, a heartbeat. So yeah, exactly. It's one of them. It's we move sort of thing. But yeah, let's get into it. So West Ham, obviously we took them on, as we all know. Lineup unchanged, exactly what I went with, and I think you went with the same as well, didn't you, Dad? The only thing we was potentially going to change is the order of the front three, maybe. But other than that, spot on. So obviously Kaminsky, Osho, Mengi, Burke, Doughty, Fred on the right. Barkley, Lukonga, and then Chong, Morris, and Elijah. It did say Morris was on the right as the when the lineups were coming out on a few things, and it did look like that when the game was on. It looked like Chong was a lot more on the left, especially in the first half. So that was really the only change. But same players. As for the bench, Berry, Clark, Hashioka, Johnson, Krul, Ruddock, Chio, Townsend, and Woodrow. Obviously, Chio set to be back for this one. That's good that he was back for this one. And yeah, it was good to see, one keeper on the bench. That shows that we do have players coming back, which is obviously a good sign. Shame when it is, but it's good that they are back and, can showcase their abilities. Some of them, especially like Chio, for example, for the last two games. And you saw that when he come on in this game. But yeah, like I say, can't complain about the lineup. And yeah, the bench was much better than it has been when it comes to depth and things like that, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, it's been like that for the last couple of games. Why change it? You know, it was a decent performance in game against Everton, and yeah, it's good to see Chio back on the bench. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, no, exactly that. And then moving on to the game, I thought we started really well in the opening couple of minutes. Obviously, we did get a goal fairly early on as well. Lokonga, fair play. You know, that's someone I wouldn't have expected to get on the end of that, if I'm going to be honest. I'd have probably expected him to be the guy that crosses it. You know, because you look at a few of the assists he got this season, the last game against Everton, Brighton at home. But yeah, he scored. You know, poor defensively from West Ham, but you know we just done what we had to do there and punish him. You know, for that poor defending. You know, weren't even watching him. It was crazy. But obviously, it started off from obviously Barkley with a wicked ball out to Elijah on that left hand side. Elijah went for a shot blocked, and then it fell out to Doughty. Lovely ball in there. You know, into Lokonga, headed it in, and good start. But at the time, obviously, I was buzzing. I was like, yes, you know, come on, like we're winning. Come on, we need to get something out of this game. Yeah, it's a good start. But then, however, as I said on the vlog from home, I did have that slight back and feeling in my mind. You know, you look at games like Tottenham, we have been 1-0 up a few times and unfortunately ended up losing the game. So I weren't, you know, getting too complacent about it. Especially like I said, going into it, West Ham do have the players to hurt us. And Kudus was one of them, as much as he didn't score, you know, you see the havoc he was causing really. So I wasn't too complacent, but it was a good start. You know, it was a good start and good goal, wasn't it, Dad?
yeah, it was. They were quite lethargic or whatever in the first half. West Ham. Yeah, it was poor defending, but Doubt had loads of space to cross it in, and if you give him that space, he'll find a Luton player generally. So yeah, it was a good finish, good start. But then we should have probably just kept pressing more in that first half, to be honest. You know, because that's what happens. Teams always come out in the second half and they got better players. They just step their foot on the gas a bit and they'll punish us. And we just, you know, it's more in hope than anything else, really. Because I knew like they'd come back, um, but I was hoping, you know, for the 3-2, which I predicted. But obviously, no.
Mm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And then I felt after the goal, we wasn't the best. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. They just was getting in a bit too easy. I felt personally. The next big moment was Osho. You know, a bit of a pressure pass. I'm going to call it to Lokonga. You know, put him under pressure. Shouldn't have really passed it there. I'm going to be honest. And then obviously Kudus won the ball and nearly equalised. You know, wide again. It's just not great there. You know, we have done that a few times this season. We've gave teams goals in that sort of sense, and we nearly done it there. Then obviously they had another chance, big chance. Paqueta played the ball into Bowen, hits the post. Bowen had a lot of chances in this game where I was thinking, how have they not gone in? You know,
Yeah,
there's two or three that I can think of from the top of my head. That one, there was one in the second half, rebound, side netting from Antonio's header. And then there was another one as well from memory. You know, and I was just like, wow, how does he not put these away? Especially a player of his, you know, quality. And then obviously Mengi cleared the ball from Bowen's shot. I did think originally it was going in, but looking on the replay, it wasn't. But then again, you just got to make sure, get it out. If in doubt, get it out, sort of thing. Again, well done, Mengi there. We should have closed it down better for me. You know, we cannot be giving players like that space, like you say, Dad, because they will, you know, try and capitalise and punish you. So yeah, you know, after we got the goal, like I say, I don't feel we were great. You know, we were quite. I don't know. It felt like we were holding on, like you're saying, Dad. It did feel like that, and it felt like they were going to score eventually.
yeah,
Obviously, we went 1-0 in at half time, which again we have done that a few times, but again, I wasn't too I wasn't too confident because like I've said, I've seen games where we have unfortunately lost, like Tottenham, like Anfield, you know, Liverpool away at Anfield again, you know, it's Anfield, but still, you know, they're examples of seeing it, you know, especially away from home. So yeah, that's how I felt. But how did you feel after we scored? How did you feel we was?
yeah. It's similar. You know, it was. We just, like I said, we didn't go. We needed to go for it a bit more. You know, you got that goal early on. Just go for it. Go for it. more, and we just didn't really do that. It was too sort of like hoping kind of thing, like, but it didn't know what to do. Like it was a bit weird. And then they weren't great, but they still had chances, and that's the difference, isn't it? And then second half, and we do what we have been doing pretty much all season and concede like quite early on in the second half. That needs to be looked at, in the season reviews and things like that. Yeah, we're about being a championship and that, but still, you've got to learn certain lessons, haven't you? Yeah, but again, like you say, we've been 1-0 up plenty of times against better sides than West Ham, and we still lost. So really, if we was 1-0 down, I don't think we've won any game. One game from being 1-0 down all season, and that Bournemouth, I think, and every other time we've lost. So yeah, defensively, we're just without Lockyer, certainly. We're not quite strong there. People were saying, "Oh yeah, we're looking at this player, that player, and that." I don't know. Osho weren't too great in this game, and probably is not his last game, but
second.
Yeah, at the end of the thing, he was well upset and that, and it's more probably because he knows he's going and he can help keep us up, kind of thing. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, in the second half, you're just thinking, keep it tight. Even if they did equalise, like push in the last 5-10 minutes, which is what we can do, but it didn't work out like that at all. Defending, even Kaminsky, wasn't super great in this game.
Yeah, I mean, moving on to the second half, of course, Kaminsky, the first goal, it's a good save from him. Burke, again, I just don't know what he was trying to do there, with the touch. I just think it's risky, the way he's had his leg out like that, and obviously it's led to Ward-Prowse scoring. Again, he always, is involved against us in some way. Ward-Prowse made it 1-0, and from there, me personally, I'm thinking, right, they're probably going to go on and win the game now. I remember saying to myself, right, that's it, you're going to come back now. And obviously, I did. Antonio, before that though, Antonio, the header I was on about, great save by Kaminsky. And then obviously Bowen, I'm surprised he didn't score the rebound. Like I said, he had 2-3 really good opportunities in this game. And then they did get their goal. The second one, now for me, the only thing I will say about Chong, and we have said it the last couple of weeks, is I love the way he runs at players, goes at them. That's brilliant. I love to see that. But something I feel he needs to improve on. And in a way, I do think it is a benefit that we are going down, just for this sense, in the sense of him, the more you go down in the English leagues, the more physical it is. And I feel that'll be a good test for him. Obviously, he has played Championship, but that, no disrespect to Birmingham, but that's for Birmingham, do you know what I mean? And now in League One, do you know what I mean? Like we want to be at least in the top 6, so it's going to be a good challenge for him, I feel. And, it just went down too easy. Went down too easy. Like I said on the vlog from home, like, come on, man, get up. Do you know what I mean? And obviously they've scored from that. They just, got the ball, crossed it in. And then again, similar goal, rebound. With a sense of it not being cleared properly, second balls. It's been like that a lot this season. Souček, to be fair, I can't blame Kaminsky for that goal, because that was a great goal, if we're going to be honest, by Souček. And again, he loves playing against us as well. I remember even that friendly, when we drew 1-1, he was the one who scored in that game, header. So, good goal. And yeah, it was frustrating, really, the 2 first goals they got, wasn't they, Dad?
Yeah, poor defending, isn't it? Like the first one, come off of Kaminsky, and then but we should be closing down. Premier League top quality defenders will close that down, or not even that. Like, remember that Blackpool game, which turned out to be Nathan Jones' kind of last time we saw him. We were throwing our bodies all over the line, you know what I mean, and things like that. And it's not like that. But with that dangly leg shit, man, that's not Premier League quality. That's not even Championship quality, man. He's good going forward in that, but like I've said to you, defensively, as a rock, compare him to like Lockyer, Mengi, even Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he'll lose his place next season. Even if, obviously we're going to probably keep him because he's still under contract now. But I think Anderson gets in above him. Seriously, like, just throw your body on the line. You could have done that, in my opinion. But yeah, and again, Ward Prowse ain't going to miss from there. And then the second one, yeah, Chong. We know that he's he does get mugged off the ball sometimes too easy. Excellent at going around players to close control and stuff. He does sometimes. And that he's small. That's it. That's why, and they know they can bully him off the ball, and you're not going to get a free kick because you're smaller than the rest of the guys on the pitch, kind of thing. So he is the sort of, and also with that situation there, the other players again recognise it quickly, recognise the danger. And you've got top Premier League players will recognise that, and there will be someone in there and manage to get that ball away. So yes, he went down so easy, but again, we had loads of players in the box to deal with that, and it didn't. And yeah, it was an excellent finish. But we've had that couple of seasons where we've got quality players shooting through a sea of bodies and still scoring on that. So yeah, it was annoying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then they brought Earthy on, the youngster, and he scored. It's just typical, isn't it, really? Kudos. I'm not going to lie, he was toying with us. I said he is a player that we do have to watch out for, and he was toying with us on that left side in the first half, on the right side, on the second half. And we just couldn't. I just felt like we just weren't there. Like you say, Dad, like that Blackpool game, for example. We're putting our bodies on the line. This it was too easy for him to even play it across. How long he had on the ball was a joke. If we're going to be honest, and then played it across to Earthy, who scored 3-1. And yeah, at that moment, obviously, as you'd have seen on the vlog from home, I was fuming, absolutely fuming. It's too easy, and it's just annoying. It is annoying. If you want to go down, you want to go down playing a bit better than that. If we're going to be honest, but it's especially with how big we knew this game was. It's just disappointing, really. In the end, it felt like we were sort of hoping, or it looked like, shall I say, like you said, that we were hoping to get out there with a result. Really, it just wasn't. The defending levels weren't there, and like you say, Dad, we're definitely missing Lockyer. We know, we know this. And again, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, yeah, a lot needs to happen. For a rebuild, essentially, in my opinion. Going into the new season, so it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we'll do a keep, sell, and loan, so it'll be more interesting, and we'll get more into that side of things then. But yeah, any final things you want to say on the game as a whole, Dad?
Yeah, like that last guy, the Bengi and Burke were like in proximity, keepers at near post and everything. It's terrible, really. Like, even if you're thinking the ball's going to go out of play, which it nearly did, it's Premier League quality. No one was looking around for this guy running in or whatever. Just again, it was no one. It was it's the end of season sort of game. They know that it was done pretty much before then, kind of thing, and just it takes it out of you, I guess. But obviously we'll get into it because there will be still players at the club who are actually still under contract. We'll get into that further on. But there's people say, I think Berry is out of contract. He's definitely probably going to go. But Ruddock's still got a year left. But Ruddock ain't going anywhere, and unless we say to him that you're not going to get any. But in the Championship, he probably deserves another to run down that contract at least. And maybe try and get us back up there. He's good at the run the club and the change room, etc. So he might as well just let that run out and then see what happens with other guys. But most of them are tied down to contracts. So if they do want to go or go, whatever, it's going to cost some. Going to be getting good money for our players for for once, you know.
Yeah. No, that's something to look at.
And
Another,
you know, at the end of it, the fans, well, that did go. They were good. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you need. Everyone's you get happy clubbers, and it's like, yeah, you know, but it's not that terrible. It wouldn't if we were in Sheffield United's position. I don't think that would be happening because that's simply not good enough. But considering the injury, considering the budgets, and we haven't, you know, everything all into perspective, including the manager actually, you know, his second proper job, not even counting Watford, even though he actually didn't do too bad there, and they didn't do nothing after he left anyway. It is what it is, isn't it? Like you said, like other people said. Like for me, I think I've seen us go down from the Championship twice, League One once, twice, League Two into the Conference. You know what I mean? I've seen it. And they hurt, and other times have hurt when we tried to miss out on promotion. Hurt much more than this. This didn't really hurt. It just felt we knew it was kind of inevitable from a few weeks ago. For me, it was a Sheffield United loss. For me, even though that was early on in the season, for me that's one of the key things. And then when the injuries come, it was there, and then obviously the results marked up with that, and it was done by. So I've been waiting for it for ages. At the end of the day, technically we've took it to the last game of the season. Forget about points deduction because that's out of our control. You know, we didn't ask for them people to get them. So technically, you know, in the facts, we've took it to the last game of the season. But our defending towards that side of the season was terrible. You know, and if we didn't have Kaminsky, we'd have been down ages ago. But yeah, we knew it's kind of going to be tough. But when you get, you know, Nakamba, we was looking forward to having him all season, being a bit stalwart in midfield. Hardly played. Anderson's come on, scored against West Ham in the first game at home, whatever. Injured. And then you kind of working what you got. You know, who knew Fred would end up coming in and playing the last 6 games or whatever it is, and actually not doing too bad. To be fair to him, I think I can't remember if he's under contract or not, but possibly. It's still been a good season, you know, to experience that. I think it's been crap as well in you know, certain things like VAR and just the way players. The negative side of football you see a lot more in the Premier League. Players rolling around, faking, getting slapped in the head. Just the you know, commentators and biasness. It's been terrible, hasn't it? But you know, slob pundits and that just probably sitting there giggling like a fat fucking. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Things like that just wind you up. But then again, along the same line, we've won the respect of certain pundits, which didn't really want it in the first place, like Shearer, Lineker, and that. And then they'll miss us in the Premier League. Right? So, but in a way, Ipswich are kind of the next one. Obviously, they got a bit of a, you know, they got a better, you know, trophy cabinet and us, little bit of better history, but they're similar in a lot of ways. You know, they've gone up probably way before they should have gone up, and let's see how they cope in it. Because I know they've got money anyway, and things like that. And let's see what happens there. Because some players might, after looking at the 3 going down, might be reluctant to move to them clubs in the future, thinking, well, what's the point? You know, but we'll see. And then you've got the other playoffs going on. There's 2 0-0s. KG. No one wants to lose. They can't. Some of them teams can't afford to lose. That's the problem, because they're spending so much money on wages and things. But yeah, it is what it is. We've still got a final home game against Fulham, who, you know, ain't too ahead of us now, but we've played them quite a lot over the recent seasons. Obviously, we had that horrible 7-0 defeat. when we had injuries. Then that was under Nathan Jones as well. That was shocking. The fans will be cool with the turnout and the numbers and that, and I'm sure that we will be up for that game, you know, because we've got nothing to lose. And you know, if I want Ruddock still to get his goal in the Premier. I want Potts. I don't know how injured he is. Just bring him on for the last 2 minutes just to stand there. He gets his Premier League ball. Do you know what I mean? Ruddock, I'll be banging him up front or something. Do you know what I mean? I know it's like, ain't Football Manager and that, but come on, man, like he deserves a goal, doesn't he? So at least start him or put him up there, just do something. You might as well. You've got nothing to lose. You're not going to get done for the integrity of the game, are you? What, you start in a strong squad, just put Pelly up front or something. Just put, you know, or play that towards him. I don't know, but I want him to get a goal. But it's going to be interesting. I'm still looking forward to it. Got the Fury Usyk fight as well, like the next day and that, or the same day. Sorry, isn't it?
Day before. Yeah, final games are on Sunday.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Till the weekend, and then I think it might be bank holiday Monday. No, that's the weekend after. But yeah, it's my birthday coming up, so you know,
Okay.
25. Can't wait. But yeah, like, and it's what somehow there's positives to take from next season. You know, no VAR.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, there's going to be decisions, but we'll probably will be like, well, if there was VAR, but you just got to forget that it is what it is. We're going to get robbed. Other teams are going to get robbed. It's going to happen. You know,
and just quickly, we're not going to. You know, we're not going to go unbeaten or anything like that because it's just relentless, isn't it? You play so many games.
Like, we'll go on little runs and that, and I'm sure we will, but we won't be losing 20 odd times like we have this season. You know, Roberts will be gone then if that happens. But any manager would be, because we're not going to settle now for just being mid-table in the Championship. Well, we've had it in there. Let's just forget about it for now. We're going to be trying to compete, and our aim will be to try and get back up there, of course. But obviously, be better equipped. So it's going to be interesting to see who we actually sign and who goes. You know, because you can afford to spend that little bit more money. You should be going for players. You know, you see teams like QPR now have players like constantly keeping hold of Chair. He's a bowler. Luton. You know, and other teams, and they just keep hold of these certain players or recruit really well, like Coventry do. You know, and then end up, you know, that's what we need to be doing properly. I know we do recruit pretty well, but let's be honest, a lot of them players initially have worked their way up through the leagues, haven't they? And they've only got a certain ceiling, and some of them have proved that they can potentially play in the Premier League. Some of them not as much. So yeah, we'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. Like I say, and like you said, you know, it's the best relegation. And that sounds a bit weird to say, but it is, you know, up a lot because, like I say, parachute payments as well.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. You know, like say fans like myself and you, Dad, obviously don't have season ticket membership. You know, be able to go to some games at least. I'm not saying all of them, but we'll be able to go to some. You know, which would be good to do that again. So there is stuff like that you got to look at as well. You know, cheaper tickets as well, because I know Premier League prices are an absolute joke. You know, so there is stuff like that as well to look at. And Chris says, where's it gone? There it is. Miss Luton because prefer new teams in Premier League instead of same old staleness and Leicester. Yeah, I mean,
I like Leicester.
I stand by it. What's that? Sorry, Dad.
I like Leicester.
I was going to say it was a bit of a surprise when they went down.
You don't know who you're going to get next. Sorry to keep interrupting, but it could be Norwich. I know a lot of people don't like that, but Norwich and Ipswich are kind of rivals, and
that would be good to see.
Don't mind, but they just don't seem to. You know, they're like kind of like us in a way, but once you've done it a couple of times, they've got more money, got a bigger stadium and things like that. You'd think they would spend a little bit more money on trying to stay in the Premier League. So I'll be interested to see. I wouldn't mind seeing them, but then you got, it'll be tougher for us to go up next season. You got, Burnley. I think probably will be up around there. Sheffield United, I'm not quite sure how that's going to go.
I'm not sure about that at the moment.
Leeds and Southampton will definitely probably be strong again. Leeds definitely, unless a lot of their players leave and things like that. So it'll be tougher. But one of them teams is not going to go up, Leeds or Southampton, isn't it? So
exactly,
it's going to be interesting. But we've got to, the fixtures have got to be kind, all sorts of stuff. But again, it comes around quick. We know now as well, because we already start to prepare for Championship. Now we know where we're at. We know what players we've got to be looking at. And we work players that are going, etc., etc. Hopefully the fixture list is kind. I know you can't tell sometimes with certain teams who's going to do what and that, but it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, there's more games on Sky and that. The only thing is they're doing away with I follow visual. You can still listen to it on there, but so that there's going to be 20 odd games which are not on TV, as far as I know, and you're going to have to try and they're the ones you're going to try and get tickets for. But you know what Sky's like, they announce what games like last minute sometimes and things like that. So that's going to be interesting. So I might have to, if I can't go or watch it, then we might have to do the old school business, which I used to do, listen on the radio. But I don't mind that as well, because I like the commentators. You can get a gist of how the players are playing based on what he says and things like that. It's not like watching it on the TV. Their commentators obviously are different because you're watching it, but you know what I mean? It's more descriptive, and I've been listening to it for years, so I can get in the zone when I'm listening. I ain't got no problem with that, and I can still kind of judge. Don't give a shit already. So you were at the game and that. Well, you know what I mean? I've got ears, mate. Someone's telling me what's happening. I don't necessarily need to be at the game. So, and then they're honest as well. If they think someone's playing poor,
they'll say,
they'll say so, and you sit there and make notes. That's what people do that go to the games as well, and that they make notes and stuff. But anyway,
yeah. Just quickly, what I was going to say on the playoffs is it goes back to what you said earlier, that a lot of them will try and have to, obviously they all go out to win, but I mean some of them will have to win. You know what I mean? Like Southampton, in my opinion. So I think if they don't go up, I think a lot of their players will go. Like I was looking at their team yesterday. I don't know how Kyle Walker-Peters is still there. Players like that, it's crazy, really. So
as well.
I mean, fair play, probably loyalty and that. Like fair play, you don't really get that nowadays in football. Except Ruddock, really. But yeah, like fair play, but yeah, it's stuff like that, isn't it? Like they look to their team, man. They've still got a lot of good players. Same with Leeds, you could say as well. I know Leeds have a bit of a terrible record in playoffs, but I've already said it. I think they'll do it. I think with them Southampton in the final, and I think this is where they write it wrong. I don't think our playoff record weren't great, was it, until we actually won it? So, so sometimes them things are there to be broken. And I think Leeds as well, being second for quite a while, or being in that conversation, I think they'll do it. But yeah, I'll tell you what, if it's Leeds or Southampton, don't go up, because it will be one of them, if not both. Good away days to do, there'll be. So
yeah,
there's that as well. But yeah, there we go. Of course, we've said that. Reckon you'll get good reception on final game as you should. Yeah, 100%. When we had final game in League One, I saw our fans clapping. Why the clapping went down with no fight? Luton did. Yeah, to be fair, I was very surprised with Carlisle. I'll be honest. Obviously, I expected them to be down there, but not like that. That was shocking. Even games you guys were winning. Come back and lose, and it's just not great. So I do agree. Oh mate, playing them again. Oh god.
Well, again, we could get into it's nothing. They're giving it the Billy, on.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, if they were actually like competing for the playoffs, then maybe I'd understand it, but they're not.
I always said, keep saying it. They're on a downward spiral. They're even their parent club. That's basically their owners have got 3 different clubs. The Udinese, I think they're struggling as well, and they've been down for 3 seasons now. I think will be. So that parachute payment's probably running out. You know, based on their signings. You know, apparently they were linked with Berry. I think that's rubbish because I just do. But they signed Tom Ince last season. For what? You know, and you know they have got quite a good recruitment strategy, but they're just you've got no formula doing that, changing your managers all the time and your half empty stadium. They need to sort it out, and we're a totally different team now. And even last year we beat them anyway. Yeah, we had that defeat at theirs, and that was just terrible goalkeeping, and they just seem to get themselves up for that that game. But we'll see. I don't know if it'll be easy, but I expect us definitely to get result over them. I think we're stepping ahead. We'll see who they sign.
We'll see what we do as well, of course.
Yeah, well, I know we're going to have at least 8-9 coming in.
I said to you, didn't I, or like off air? I said it would probably be quite similar to our summer this summer. You know, the summer just gone in the sense of the amount of signings, maybe more potentially, but it'd be something like that, I reckon.
I think we'll be looking at more now. We've experienced players like Barkley and the Conga, players like that with real technical ability. You know, that's what we've got to really look. We've got to look at that for the players who can make that step up to the Premier League and things like that, more than sort of decent players, Championship. Then we've got to, and we've done that with certain players. You could say Mengi, but then potentially, because he's been so good for a 20-year-old, there'll be definitely clubs looking at him and thinking, yeah, we can get him at snip. 10, 15 million. To them, it's not. It's all going to be interesting with the FFP and that. I know the rules are changing, but certain players they said Arsenal, Lukonga's up for sale apparently, but he's valued at 12. But I don't think we'll pay that, and I don't think he'll come to us anyway because he's Premiership quality. He's probably not going to waste the season necessarily in the Championship. I don't think he'll do that. I think there's other clubs that will pick him up and he'll go straight into their midfield. I'm surprised Arsenal didn't keep him, to be honest with you. But he's only young, and I don't know. I think he's just as good as Partey. What's Partey done since he's been there? Nothing.
The problem with Partey is, me personally, I think he's a good player, but the problem with him is he's quite injury prone. So that's why I'm thinking. I'm surprised. Obviously, you're going to have Rice in there, you're going to have Odegaard, but for me, we said it, didn't we? The Conga is the other one that I put in there. I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Yeah. So we'll see. We are good at signing players, and we've got a little bit of clout, because we've gone down and we've got that attraction now. Players,
it's like a lot of people say here.
Go straight back up. We're looking to go back up, so we can attract them better players. Just go to QPR. I want Chair. He's sitting there for like way too long doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that he's in a team that's looking to get promoted. It'd be wicked. I'm surprised no one else has gone for it. Maybe he has got a bit of an attitude, but I don't know. But there's plenty to look at. Nketiah, Bob Edwards signed him on my FIFA 24, whatever. Like, he's up for sale apparently. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he'll drop down a league, but sometimes you have to, isn't it? We'll see. There's plenty.
What about that other one he signed? That guy, who was it, playing in the Bundesliga? When you were
what was his name?
I could actually see that. I can't remember his name, but
he had a weird
name. His rise sort of was. I could see us going for something like that.
Yeah, he had a weird name, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll find that out for the next episode if you don't remember it.
He could. Yeah, well, on the game, he was balling it. So I didn't know who he was. I was trying to search for it, I couldn't find him, and then I did. Can't remember what his surname was, but yeah.
Yeah, but like you say as well, going to people looking at us as well. Obviously, Geordie. Obviously, I know he does anyway. Us and that. Big up to yourself, mate. He says we'll miss you. Going to miss you, Hatters. We'll definitely follow you on Championship games. Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Big up to yourself. And did like this comment as well. Do beat Sunderland and Borough next season. Don't miss on that. I mean, even though we beat Sunderland in the playoffs, and you could say that was revenge, we need to need to beat them again. More revenge, in my opinion. After that, I'm still fuming about that. That dive that Diallo done. I'm fuming about that. I see him playing yesterday, and it just every time I see him, it just makes me think of that dive. You know what I mean? It's just frustrating. So yeah, yeah, and certain Borough fans have heavily disrespected us, especially us in Coventry when we got in the playoff final. Like, oh, I'm not even going to watch it. How are they both there? Because we beat both, Borough and so yeah, stuff like that. So there will be slight revenge for them comments and dives and stuff like that. So yeah, that is that. Big up to Darth Vader. He says, hope we keep most of our squad. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do think there will be a bit of an overhaul, but I think it'll be more so. Obviously, like I say, we'll do a keep, sell, and loan, so we'll get more into it there. But I think players like Berry will go, especially that his agent's saying about all these teams, not necessarily to them teams. Well, I hope he doesn't. Because if he does, I'll be fuming. DC, you can go there, mate, but the others, I'll be fuming. I think potentially, I'll say an early one now. That might be a bit of a 50-50. Clark, potentially. I could maybe see him go.
Contract, so I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they can obviously put you on the transfer list. Do you know what I mean? It's not, but I don't know about Clark. I think potentially probably get another season out of him. Might not start, but
be more of a player on the bench.
Players going in that, our midfielding is weak.
When you really think about it, at this moment, because you're not going to have Barkley, and that's a shame. We'll get into his player ratings and that, but that is a shame. That is probably his last game. Let's be honest for us, and he didn't get that banger, which is just gutting. It is gutting. I felt he was decent until he got injured in this game. It wasn't stand out, but I still felt he's good. Like I said, the first goal, great ball out to Elijah to start it all off. If we're being honest, so it's going to be gutting. Yeah, no, absolutely. I know you said the same, Dad. You reckon they'll be bottom half, and I do as well. People go, "Oh, you're sick." No, generally, like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, they're signing Tom Ince, like you say, Dad. Come on, man. That's a Luton reject. Let's be honest now. When we signed him, I'll be honest, I was gassed because I was thinking that experience he'd do well. And then I remember we watched the game on iFollow. Do you remember that? Norwich. All right, they were doing really well at the time, but lost 3-0, and he was the worst player on the pitch. So yeah, it says a lot, really. For me, they've only got two good players: the keeper and Dennis. That's it, in my opinion. So, and I don't really want to say that, but got to be honest. Unfortunately not, mate. Unfortunately not. Like I say, not season ticket holder or a member. So, unless anyone helps, tries and help, but most likely not, mate. So it is what it is there. But next season, I'll be going to a lot more games, hopefully. So, like a lot of people. So yeah, there we go with that. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, we will do player ratings. So let's get into it. So Kaminsky, again, I think he made some decent saves in this game. I was saying after the game, I do, not necessarily on the vlog for mine, just talking to myself about it, I do feel a bit sorry for him because the amount of goals, has been past him in the sense of because the defence hasn't been great in front of him and we've had to makeshift a lot. Good saves, I'd say, the Antonio header, a few decent ones. The first goal, I don't really blame him. Second goal, neither. Third goal, we should have just defended better. So, for me, can't go too high because obviously we lost 3-1. He's conceded 3. I'll go with a 6.5 for Kaminsky.
Yeah, 6.5. As usual, couple of good saves. We expect that of him now, don't you? I don't know. I feel like maybe, the third goal, he shouldn't really be getting beaten near post and that, and then parry out. Again, we should defend it better, but still, he don't normally do that. And yeah, it's the end of the season. It's done. It's hard to play when you in the back of the mind you're like, we're going down, So 6.5.
Yeah, fair enough. Paul's gone with the same. Moving on we will go over to Burke. Again, not the best at games. Like I say, I was frustrated with that Ward-Prowse goal. Just sticking your leg out like that is just risky. Let's be honest. And he hasn't been the best, in my opinion, recently. So for me, do you know what? I'm going with 5.5.
I'd give him a 6. Just average. Got a yellow card. Didn't wasn't great defensively, particularly. I can understand why he can be a bit below. But yeah, I'll just give him a 6.
Fair enough. Paul's actually on 6.5. Fair enough. Interesting. I'll go Mengi next. I felt he was definitely the best centre back. And I've said that most times when it's been them three. That sliding block he done in the first half, just to get it out, you can tell he is frustrated. He's hitting the grass in frustration. And I feel sorry for him because he's come in, he's done really well. He weren't expected to start as much as he has, but because of the issues with, makeshift defence and injury problems, the unfortunate situation with Lockyer, he's had to. And he's done well. He's done well, like you say, Dad. Teams will be looking at him. I do think we will manage to keep him personally,
Yeah,
but maybe next season, it might be, depending on what we do, it could be maybe. But I also think because we've just signed him, we'll be all right. Really?
Yeah, possibly, and he's guaranteed to start with us on the
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
he's definitely one that's been showing real ambition and real fight to step up. And that's what some players are like. Cole Palmer's like that. Not getting any games here. Was he going to? Unless he goes to someone and they guarantee him a start in the Premier League, he's not going to go with that thing. So, he's still young enough to do that. So I think, we hopefully probably will be able to keep him. But I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah. My rating didn't even do it. What was I going to say for it? Do you know what? Because I'll say he was the better one out of the centre backs for me. So I will go, even though we lost 3-1, I'll go for 7. I do feel he was all right in that sense. And I don't really blame him for the goals thinking about it. I know, obviously, the defence as a whole wasn't great, but, as much as I felt Doughty defended well most of the game, and obviously we will get into his rating, there was one header he done that Bowen nearly got, and I was like, well, what's he doing there? And also the fact on the third goal, I wouldn't really say that Mengi there. Me personally, I think Doughty was a bit closer, but yeah, I'm going to go with 7 for Mengi. And Paul again's gone with 6.5. And then moving on to Osho, I'll say I do think he could be a player that's going to go out just because of the contract situation. And like you said, Dad, and I remember saying it to you, when we spoke about a game after, that he was emotional and maybe, like you say, he's thinking, oh, tried to keep us up, but fortunately didn't. But if he is to go, and obviously big up to him, I do love his redemption story, you could say, against Watford. But yeah, in this game, not the best. I'm going to go for 6.
Yeah, I'll give him 6. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Again, if there's rumours going out there and it's their agents, isn't it, touting, Tottenham are looking at him, so and so is looking at him, and that, then that kind of says that they want to move as well, And again, that's the game that got us relegated, and he was really emotional on that, and he has stepped up. And if he does stay with us, I'm sure he'll do all right in the Championships. He really did step up. And he can make that step up. There's just a few things that but when you're with elite coaches and that, because we got decent, obviously, but we haven't got elite coaches. Let's be honest, we haven't. Yeah. Then you step up in it. So good luck to him anyway. But yeah, 6 for this game.
Yeah. Paul again, 6.5. He loves a lot of the 6.5s for this game. Fair enough. Moving on to Fred. I mean, I don't think he was the worst in this game. You got to take into account, and I'll say it with him. We didn't expect him to be in the squad. His first game was against Tottenham, and he hasn't been terrible. Considering that's not his position as well. Like I've said, if we do keep him, I don't want to see him in this sort of position. I want to see us get a right wing back and then a backup, or someone that can play centre back and right wing back, something like that. I want to see him play higher. Obviously, not start, but like be on the bench and come on from the bench, stuff like that. But this game, I'm not going to be too harsh on him. You know, he was struggling against Kudus, but again, it weren't just him. So Fred, I'll go. I'll go with a six, another six.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. He's not. He hasn't had enough time to influence, and maybe he isn't Premier League quality. But yeah, so sounds a bit harsh anyway. Like we loaned him out at the end of the day, you know. So the chances are we'll be looking to offload him. I would have thought. And he hasn't. He's done all right in bits for us, hasn't he? But he hasn't. He's not like like contributed as like Berry. I know he's been a couple long. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think he'll be looking to be offloaded. But yeah, I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fair enough. Paul's gone with the same as well, so we're all on the same wavelength there. Doughty, I'll go over to him next, of course, on the other side. Now, like I say, I felt he defended pretty well. I remember saying to said that a few times. Not obviously him that said it, but like, I know a lot of people said it over the few weeks that he can't really defend. And since that Man City game, even though we lost 5-1, I thought he defended really well in that game. You know, I remember giving him man of the match. And I felt he'd done that most of the game here, except that chance that I say Bowen had the header and the third goal. But again, that weren't just him on the third goal. And again, obviously, he played a ridiculous amount of games. Be interesting to see what happens with him next year. I mean, I've said it. I do reckon he'll probably be a Premier League player still. But you never know. You never know. We shall see. I mean, I think I saw a stat. Most crosses was us, and in the Premier League, and he was actually obviously top of that. So that was sick to be. So I think certain people look at that. Obviously, we didn't score from every single one, but a lot of them look really good. And I've noticed when a lot of people have spoke about players to watch out for, opposition fans, they've said Doughty. So I think maybe it could be another player that potentially goes. But yeah, for this game, other than them two bits, I thought he's all right. So I'll go 6.5.
I thought he got the assist. His defending is definitely improved. Not that it's his main thing anyway, but definitely improved. You know, he had assist. He looked pretty lively. Again, we're not sure about. He has got quality. They were talking about, oh yeah, he should go for England. That I knew that wasn't going to happen, but even just to get kind of mentioned and that proves that you're doing something right. And if someone does come in and take a gamble on, I'm sure he do pretty well. But again, we'll get some money for him, a few mil, I would have thought. But yeah, I thought he was one of the better players. So I'm going to give him 7.
Yeah, fair enough. Obviously, he got the assist as well. Yeah, good shot. I nearly forgot about that. Yeah, but great ball. Obviously West Ham didn't defend the best, but he done what he had to do. And good ball in there to Lokonga. 6, says Paul. Fair enough. And then moving on we'll go over to Barkley. Now, it's a bit of a difficult one because obviously he come off in the first half. Is his last game for Luton. I cannot see him being back for Fulham. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong because, you do want to see him get that banger as much as the game's probably meaningful. Let's be honest, what he is really. It'd be good, but I don't think it will. And he's already said, hasn't he? He wants to try and keep us up, be part of that. But and also on the same bit, he said, he wants to play in Europe. I can't blame him. And if he is playing for a team in Europe, he probably actually will get picked for England as well. Depending on who that is, of course. I don't know why. Me personally, I could see him going to someone like Aston Villa. I don't know why. I could just see it. Especially them most likely having Champions League football next year. But anyway, yeah, his game, like I say, it's a bit of a difficult one because he come off. But he did do that good pass to Elijah for the first goal. So, do you know what? I'll go with 6.5 for Barkley.
Yeah, I'll just give him a 6. Like, yeah, he done that part of it. His last few games, not based on that, but he hasn't been the same. He got robbed of the ball and then he got a cynical yellow card. And then after that, he got injured. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to give him a 6.
Yeah, good shout. That card was I was annoyed with that, to be honest. I remember that. But yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, Paul's actually gone with a 5.5 for Barclays. That's interesting. And then moving on to Lukonga. If I was to give a man a match, it would be Lukonga in this game. Not even just because he scored. I felt, he tried to end it on a high, for us. I say that because, see, we're down now. I mean, if we was to get something, it'd have been good, of course. But I just feel he was the best player. Like, I felt his passing was good, his range of passing, obviously getting on a header, player you just wouldn't expect to score, let's be honest. So yeah, Lukonga is my man of the match for us. So based on that, I'll go with a 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Also, he is my man of the match. Great at our energy. Wanting to run in the box, create something. He's played really well. He was all over the place. It kind of like Nakamba. He's probably better than Nakamba, to be fair. But in that same vein, and if we could sign him, it'd be decent. Him and the Canberra in midfield, mate, and get some threats, up front or whatever, attacking midfielders as well. But it's unlikely to happen because he's too good for the Championship, that guy. So yeah, 7.5, my man of the match, and at least he got a goal. Yeah, good on him. And obviously he'll probably be playing the next game as well anyway. So obviously he might be a bit disappointed that Arsenal are going to let him go. But again, if he's playing in the last game, people were looking at him. Obviously we'd like him, but he'll put in a good performance, I'm sure, for the next game. So it's anyone. Barkley might play again. I don't think it looked that serious, the injuries. We'll see. And again, he's probably done enough anyway to put himself in the shop window. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
where Congo probably needs to put, to guarantee a Premier League move, don't you? Show that, I guess. But yeah, man of match 7.5.
Yeah, no. So that has now put Lukonga on 6 votes. So he's actually he's third. Yeah, he's third. Yeah, he's third now. So Barkley's on 7, and obviously Chong's top with 9. So interesting. Obviously, as much as the game is meaningful, really, the last game. Obviously, we'll do our predictions and that. See how that ends up, Dad. Me and you, obviously, and players and stuff like that as well. But yeah, Paul's gone with 7. So again, he was a standout in all of our opinions. And then moving on we'll go over to Morris. Again, he tried in this game. He did try. I mean, I did see some mad comments at half time on Instagram. And again, I know some of them are just wafflers. Do you know what I mean? Only watch Luton. Half of them are not even Luton fans that just watch one game and they think they know it all. But I think some people are well critical of him. I don't know if you had a look at any of it, Dad, on any of the social medias, but they were like, "Oh, get him off at half time." I was thinking, nah, I felt he was trying. Shout out to Morris in the sense of he's took over that armband as well, and I felt overall he's done well. Obviously he's when Elijah's there, we all know it's a benefit, but I don't think he was terrible in the game. Like you said, Dad, it's more suited for him when we're playing at home. And I think you're starting to see that a lot more now. But again, shout out to him. He has got 10 goals this season. I think that's really good. Premier League as well, first ever time playing in it. So again, and what he said in his post match, when they asked him, to me, that I'm confident that he's going to stay, especially the last bit. We will be back, or something along them lines. It was so. Yeah, it's overall game. So I'm not going to go the highest rating, but I don't think it was terrible. I'll go 6.5.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6.5. Got a yellow as well, but like I've said before, away he's better with someone alongside him. He is. I think he probably has been more like that his career. To be fair, you're not going to get the best out of him if he's playing in the position that he was playing in as well. So yeah, I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's interesting. And then moving on to Chong. Again, he was trying to drive the players. He was good at that sense. But like I say, the second goal, I was a bit disappointed with that. in the sense of the strength. Again, yeah, we should have cleared it, but it's just one of them, really. But his overall game, not as good as obviously Everton, but again, it's quite hard to replicate that. And that proves how good it was. When I say he didn't even get a goal or assist, and I'll give him man of match. So 6.5 again, I'm going to go with.
Same reason, 6.5.
There you go. Simple as that. Paul's also gone with the same there. And then moving on to Elijah, last player out of the starting 11. Was trying to cause havoc. Obviously had that shot for the first goal. He was a bit of a handful at times for West Ham's defence, which I did expect because, Bonner's getting on. Zuma's not the best anymore. So I did sort of expect him to get the upper hand at points, and he did in the game. So, again, I'll go with another 6.5.
Yeah, he sort of faded after a while, especially in the second half. You didn't really see as much. Done some clearances and stuff. But, yeah, not quite what we wanted to see. So, 6.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought maybe he'd carry that, replicate that, and get a goal again. Make it 2 out of 2. 6.5. Yeah, fair enough. And then moving on to the subs. Obviously, the first one we'll start off with is obviously Clark because he come on in the first half. Not the best. Quite sloppy in possession, which he can be at times. Again, maybe this is a step too far for him. I do feel that. Obviously, massive shout out to him always. He's still my favourite player, personally. And, he obviously got that goal, didn't he, in the 90 minutes. So I'll obviously always give him that respect. But I think this Premier League's bit step too far. Maybe, like you say, Dad, might give him a year. He probably deserves it, let's be honest, based on, like I say, the playoff stuff, for example. So, yeah, but yeah, not the best of games from Clark. So I'll go with a 6.
Yeah, same. I wanted him to come on and step it up in the absence of Barkley. And he just didn't really do that, unfortunately. So, yeah, 6.
Yeah, fair enough. Paul's gone 5.5. Then moving on to Chio. Now, he was one of the positive sparks in the substitutions. Really good. Me personally, I wanted to see him come on a little bit earlier. I was saying anywhere from the 55th to 60th minute. Just because, I knew he'd come on and drive at players. I know he wasn't really doing that towards, until he got the injury, but I just knew he'd be back. How big the game was. I just knew he'd do that. And he was doing really well on that right-hand side. At times, obviously, he'd come on for Fred, so he was playing as a right wing-back. And yeah, he was good. He was good for me. He's one of the positive sparks in the subs, like I say. So for me, I'm going to go with a 6.5 for Chio.
Yeah, it could be a 7 to be fair, but I'll give him a 6.5. He was like doing what he was doing at the start of the season, doing that little knock past the defenders and then chase. Pace is incredible. He's another one that potentially will be looked at, but if we can keep hold of him for next season, that'd be because he will tear Championship wing backs.
Yeah, he will, yeah.
He pops up with goals. He's got good crossing ability when he's got confidence and that. And maybe I potentially be maybe looking to start him in the last game. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, playing him in that right wing back role again, to be honest. So yeah, that's that. And then moving on to the last two, Woodrow and Berry. They come on in the 87th minute, so I'm just going to go with 6 for both of them.
Game's done.
Exactly that. So yeah, there you go. There are all the player ratings and all of that. So both of us have gone with Lokonga as the best player in this game, which now puts him third on our votes. And it'll be good next season again. Another thing, we'll be doing it from the start of the season. So, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, there will be some other names there as well. So, be interesting. And then as for the points, 10-9, been like that for a couple of weeks now, Dad. Obviously, we both thought, we would go there and win because how big the game was, and West Ham not in the best of moments. But yeah, be interesting to see how it ends up the final day, the points on everything like that. So yeah, that's that. When it comes to that, So yeah, that's that. And then Morris 6, it's what Paul said a bit later on. Big up to Harry in the chat. It says, evening lads, just got home, just managed to join here. No worries, mate. Still another topic we're going to get into anyway. And that is Rob Edwards. And it's not anything like out or anything. I just want to have appreciation for Rob Edwards. You know, obviously you see what it meant to him at the end, and even talk about it now. It's quite emotional. Do you know what I mean? You know what it means to him. You know, and we've seen that. You know, obviously a bit of a different scenario because it's unfortunately what happened to Lockyer in the playoff final and stuff like that. But you know, he wants the best for this club, and I do think next season, you know, we will see his play style of play actually come in and you know, you have to give him massive credit because he's capitalised on what Nathan Jones has done. You know, he was on, you know, the learning curve, you know, like the players, you know, for this Premier League season. And, you know, I just want to give him a lot of credit, to be honest, you know, stuff like that. So obviously there's certain times, you know, I do want to see subs earlier, but like I say, it's part of the learning curve, isn't it? And, you know, with him in charge, I'm more than confident that we'll come straight back up, to be honest with you. Like I say, hopefully next season we'll see his style kick in now, you know, a rebuild with the players that he wants, stuff like that. So, yeah, man, big up to him. That's
Yeah,
what I would say.
yeah, definitely. And this experience is only going to make him a better manager, regardless, in my opinion. And also that he has now got a real chance to build his own squad. I think he likes two up front as well, which is good. And he's got that ability. Clearly, I think he's quite underrated in certain aspects. Yeah, a lot of people he's tactically got this wrong and this, that, and the other. But it's the Premier League. Like, actually, he got it tactically pretty spot on in a lot of occasions against a lot of the teams, but we just lacked the quality to keep it like that. And and then when you got massive amounts of injuries and things like that, your tactics are not going to work as so well. And yeah, potentially you could make subs earlier and things like that. But Nathan Jones was a bit like that as well at times, although at times he'd pull people off at half time and if he weren't happy with it. But other times he'd make the wrong substitution, And again, it's a learning curve. At the end of the day, he wants to stay at the club, and he would definitely be looking to do it his way. And that's going to be very interesting. And I was thinking, oh yeah, what's he like as a manager in the Championship? Well, we had him in the Championship for half a season, and before that he was managing, down the road and that, and he was actually doing all right.
He was, yeah.
Lost a couple of games, but general they were 6, I think, or 7 or something when they sacked him. And yeah, a bit like Birmingham situation. It could have been worse for them. They weren't too far off the relegation spots themselves. But anyway, and he had better players there. So they still had Pedro and some decent players there when he was there. And he does like a similar style to what we do now, but with 2 up front. Really, he does like 3 at the back. So a lot of people saying that might go, but he plays like 3, then 4, then 1 and 2, like attacking midfielder as well. So it'll be interesting to recruit. We've got some players that he did sign. You can say that Mengi, Kaminsky, even McAteer and that, So there is them sort of players that I'd say they were pretty much his signings. Obviously MacArthur's evolved a lot, and we got some. McAtee and Taylor are going to be like 2 new signings anyway, and I think they're straight into them too. Yeah, I'd say that they can go. Both of them can go straight into the Championship. Taylor was in League 2 half season, proved his quality, went up to League 1, almost got Lincoln in the playoffs with his goals. McAtee, very similar, got goal, done really well. They'll be confident that they could do well in there. And then we've got Johnson, who's definitely probably going to be starting, I'd say, the youngster.
He'll be playing more games yet.
Yeah, he'll probably be I'd say that was he left back. So that's interesting because for him, he could play where Doughty's been playing.
That's what I'm thinking. And even the games where he has played, he's looked really composed. Sometimes for a youngster, you can sort of see
I think
they're feeling the pressure, not with him. He come on away at Everton. Do you know what I mean? In the FA Cup, remember that?
Yeah, I think he really believes in his bit, and you can see he's going to be one of probably the best maybe left back we've had since James Justin or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Rob Edwards fine. He wants to say, I don't see any envisage any other clubs going for him, and even if they do, I think he'll repay us for faith, like at least for another season. And if he gets us up, then he'll stay again. He's going to have another crack at it, isn't he? He's not going to go somewhere else. He wants to manage us again in the Premier League. Right? So, and there's no point going to somewhere in the Premier League where potentially you get sacked after 6 months, back to square one, mess your CV up and all that. It's no point. Like, it takes a while to get back into it. Look what happens to Nathan Jones. You know what I mean? And quickly mention that. He did. He was saying, "Oh well, it's like watching when Luton got promoted. It's like watching someone else walk my daughter down the aisle, kind of thing." Because he's basically saying that he built that, and he did build a lot of that.
Yeah.
But
Rob
now,
Edwards openly said that, when he
exactly. But now we'll see the real. We have seen the real Rob Edwards, but the whole footballing, the players, the way he wants to play, and he'd have learned a hell of a lot from this, like they all have, like we have as well, But yeah, we got.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Comments on it, massive credit, definitely been fantastic. Generally gives a damn about the club where you get managers like that. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. Especially when you look at stuff like the actual, the reaction to the West Ham game, for example. How much it meant to him. How emotional he was, and it was hard to watch. I'll be honest, it was hard to watch, but you can tell he's, destined to come back up with us, like you say as well, Dad. So stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. The amount of stuff that he's had as a manager, and he's still like new to this as well, like new to being as a manager as a whole, and he's had a phenomenal journey, really. If you think about it,
he's still on it, mate. He's still on it. He's right at the front of it still. So why would you get off? Do you know what I mean? He's obviously.
And like I say, next season we will see it start. I believe that. We've got the time now to do that. Premier League, you don't really know. Obviously, it's going to be hard. I mean, in the sense you don't really know what to expect in the sense of how our players were going to do. Because a lot of them didn't play in the Prem, so that I understand that. But like now, he's going to play a style, and it's going to be interesting.
I mean, he adjusted as well, whereas Company just basically stuck to the same way he played.
And there's certain ways you have to play in the Prem as well.
Yeah, you've got to be pragmatic. So he's got that, because some managers are like that. They'll just stick to one thing and that's it.
It's even like Ange for Tottenham to a certain extent. He just keeps going with the high line. He has no other option.
Yeah, and when players are injured or they're not quite performing doing that, I get it that he's like, well, if you don't perform like that in that way, then you're not right for the club and that. But sometimes you've got to change it up a little bit to you can still tell them. And that's how you want to play in that. But if you or just drop him or whatever and put someone else in and take a risk with someone, we'll see. But he'll be fine there as well. And he's a good coach. People just like to jump on things and give it all the Pep's the best and that. Yeah, he is good, but when you've constantly had the world's best players playing for you, of course it makes your job easier. Come on, So.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that, definitely. Also, when they've got the amount of funds that they've got to get players, it's a bit easier, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's why, when they do, for example, when they talk about Klopp and Pep, me personally, I'll say Klopp, because he hasn't had as much money as Pep's had. Do you know what I mean? And he's transformed Liverpool to what he did, But that's, obviously another topic. Big up to Jackie in the chat. Says hi, Ty. It does. Was late home tonight. For next season, we'll go straight back up. Yeah, I'm confident. We'll definitely be in and around the conversation.
I would,
Top six.
yeah, I would have thought so.
I,
Playoffs is a lottery, though. That's the only thing.
yeah. And what I was going to say as well is, and we've said it off air, that you look at the teams that went down this year, and they're all, Leicester obviously come straight back up, and Southampton and Leeds are in the playoffs. So I can't see no reason why we won't be at least fighting in the playoffs, personally. So yeah, that's that. We'd be mad to get rid of him, give him next season to get us back up. If that doesn't happen, may need to have a conversation. Yeah, the thing for me is if it comes to, I don't know, November, December, and we'd like mid-table, then maybe. But at this moment, we're all good, man. We're all
Yeah,
good to definitely be in a good position. What you gonna say, sorry, Don?
yeah. If we don't, if we miss out on the playoffs or whatever, then you can't really control that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if we're underperforming, especially if we sign decent players and keep some of the ones we've got, and we are mid-table, we should definitely be doing better than that.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get success. The fans will expect it. If you're run properly and that, it should go hand in hand. And that's what kind of makes it a little bit tougher for us now next season, because the expectancy is now there. The other seasons we were really expecting to get in the playoffs and things like that. So now it's kind of it's going to be more difficult for the whole club, but it's going to be interesting to see how they cope with it.
Yeah, right, definitely. Darth Vader also says, I watched McAtee at the Rubik Stadium in playoff semi-final. He got an assist. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing him and Taylor. That's going to be good. That is going to be good to see. Again, that's another positive. Let's be honest. If we would start, would you see both of them like playing for us? Or maybe Taylor, or one or the other, but you wouldn't have seen the other. Like when I say that, I don't mean sold or anything like that. They'd have probably just got loaned out again.
Maybe, I don't know. It depends who we got rid of, because we'd have still got rid of a few players, and I still think they would have been in and around it. I think Taylor's proved that he deserves to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Woodrow.
To come on in a playoff final and do what he did.
McAtee's probably better than Clark. He's more similar to his flair player, isn't he? Probably more similar to Barkley than anything else we've got at the club, let's be honest. So I'd expect that they would have come straight in, to be honest with you. But now they will already be back now. They're training. We've got Holmes as well. We signed as a centre back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that. So that's a centre back. We got another one, yeah.
We've got a goalkeeper who's been out on loan in Scotland. I expect him to come in and replace Shea. Maybe if we get rid of Kaminsky, then it's going to be him or Krul starting. I'm not saying get rid of Kaminsky, but someone comes in for him. He's proven at Premier League level now. I can see certain teams. I could even see Leicester going for him, someone like that. And why wouldn't he? He deserves to play and to get in the Belgium squad as well. That's the thing.
It's true.
So I couldn't really blame him. It would be a shame, but I don't think Krul is the answer. So I feel like if we keep him, he's still on the contract, but our keeper from the one in Scotland would probably be the one who's starting. And he's had a whole season out there. I know it's different, but still he's playing regular football. I think he's apparently done pretty well up there. So I'm sure he could do a job in the Championship. We've signed him anyway for a reason. So, and then there's other players who not necessarily in the squad list, but at the club are going to be gone. Piera, Pebble, whatever his name is. Unfortunately, him, Fred, like I say, Potts. They'll definitely be going Shea. And there's probably other ones we're not even talking about that kind of.
We'll see it and we'll be like, oh yeah, like Elliot Thorpe maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Thorpe and Watson. I can't see that. Nah, they're not Rob Edwards' players, are they? And they've both been out and really set the world alight. And even to the point where one of them was at Charlton, and that's a player that Nathan Jones has signed. And he's not even playing him. I know it might be a bit of arrogance from him, where we don't like to try and develop players that ain't ours or whatever, but you could potentially end up signing him, mate. So you wanted to sign him in the first place, didn't you? So they don't, but them. as well. So there's going to be a lot of space, maybe even more space than we think for players to come in. We know we've got two or three. Holmes is meant we've been after him for a long time, so we obviously highly rate it. I think he'd slot straight in. You know, Reading fans loved him. He'd slot straight in the Championship, not a problem. That direct replacement there straight away for Osho, essentially. Or, you know, what else? Even the Lockyer thing. Potentially he could play again. I'm not so sure how that's going to work out, but you know, he's already done a lot of media stuff and that.
Yeah, shout out to him. Obviously, he
Got
was
a lot
in
of
the
options. He's got a
playoff
lot.
games yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a lot of options and he deserves it, but I'm not quite sure that's he's going to play again.
I think especially, you know, he'll either, yeah, like you say, Dave, he's got a lot of options. He could either, you know, be part of the, like the punditry, or he could even be part of like a coach for us. Or, you know, can you even do both? I don't see why he can.
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, so they might even do both because that's what he was sort of doing on against West Ham, wasn't he? He was wearing the stuff and that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You know, obviously, I'd love to see him playing again. I also think that, you know, the whole, it's not his fault and that, but even when I was watching him before he collapsed at Bournemouth, I was still in the back of my mind thinking, oh, do you know what I mean? Like keeping an eye on it, it's like extra, and then you'd always have that little bit of anxiety, I guess. Like, you know, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing for the club. Do you know what I mean? Because if it happened again, obviously, you know, you get revived or whatever. But I don't know. Obviously, playing at a high level, it's Championship still high level as well. Let's not kid ourselves out. It is still pretty high, especially the top end. It's tough. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think he said, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago, he's going to have a meeting with the doctor, and then they're going to say from there. So obviously, when we find out there, obviously we'll, you know.
Yeah, I think in his mind he has half accepted that it might not happen again, and that's the best strong guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, he'd be upset, but he's sort of half prepared for it. I think if that is the case, you know, they might just you can, but you have to ease into it, and you probably have to play at this level or whatever, you know, and then up to it, see what happens. I'm sure the club will look after him no matter what, anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, they're still getting involved now in stuff as well. Like we would, you know, you expect that, but it's good to see. It's good to see that obviously he's there and that as well. Big up to Spencer in the chat. Says hi all. Just got home. Was watching most of the show from the office. Yeah, big up to yourself, mate. I know you did comment on the vlog from home as well. Obviously, big up to everyone that did. Darth Vader says, to be honest, I can't wait to go back to the championships so we can go into with confidence of winning them, going to games. This season has been difficult, but we're the underdogs every game. I mean, yeah, no, definitely. One thing I will say is hopefully we're not the underdog. The favourites in a lot of games, because we know even when we are in the championship, we do lose. So hopefully not in that sense. But yeah, definitely we can actually think, yeah, we're going to win this game. You know, we're going to win this game. You know, so yeah, it'll be good for that sense. And like I say, there is things to look at and you know look forward to. Like we said, you know, like you said, Dad, no VAR. Me, I'm looking forward. You know, the more I think about it, seeing McAtee and Taylor as well. You know, I do think we will keep. I know Elijah's been linked with Leicester, but I do think we probably will keep him. I've got a feeling we'll be all right. And he, you know, even if he doesn't, I think we've got good enough. That's one position I look at and think that we're all right there. You know, obviously, you know, maybe Woodrow might go, so might need to replace. But I don't know. I think if you've got Taylor and McAtee, you'll be all right. You know, Morris as well. Might need someone else quite similar to Elijah, but hopefully,
We'll definitely sign a striker. I'm telling you that we will 100% sign one or two strikers.
Yeah. Well, the striker will go, so we'll have to get someone.
You know, we can't afford to have that happen. So
yeah, that's another thing. Probably learn from like not, you know, obviously recruited maybe as good as we could have potentially, in January. Stuff like that. But Dad, any final things you'd like to say about anything?
Nah, just enjoyed the last game of the season, innit? And look forward to the Euros.
Try and look forward to that anyway.
Yeah, and then the fixtures will be out in just over a month.
Obviously, everyone will be looking out for the M1 derby.
Yeah, exactly. There's some good games there, and there's some good
games. Away, please. Portsmouth away, that'd be good.
There's some good games in general in that league. If Southampton don't go up, then they're going to play Portsmouth. That's tasty. Yeah. Sheffield United, Luton, Watford. You got like Burnley, they've got loads of teams around them, Preston and all that. Who else? Derby.
Plymouth away. Come on.
Yeah. So we've got Bristol City in there, QPR in there, we've got Millwall in there.
Be interesting to see how Bristol City do next year, because I think the last couple of years they've
if they can keep up, maybe we should be looking at grabbing a couple of their players. You know what I mean?
We've always been linked, haven't we, with their centre back? Well, not always, but recently.
Ryman, I think.
Yeah, Viner or whatever his name is. He looks pretty good, to be fair.
Ben Sheaf from Coventry apparently been linked with him as well.
Heavily linked with him a lot, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to it still. That sounds a bit weird, but
I am. The more I think about it, actually,
because we knew the Premier League would be tough, and we knew that. But we know that if we recruit right, we're not going to lose as many games. We're going to be on top. And we need to get our home form back, because it didn't happen, did it? Really. Not as much as we wanted it to, especially against certain teams, just weren't good enough. Didn't happen, and I think some of that's the crowd, but most of it is down to we want to see us perform. The best one was obviously Brighton, absolute demolition job, best game, best performance I've seen from Luton for a couple of years, whatever. You know what I mean? That's outstanding. But, that's it.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to say, actually. One thing I am gutted is them games, Dad. Everton away. I said it on the last one. Everton away and Brighton, we didn't quite do anything to that. That is gutting, thinking about it. They're the most memorable games, you would say.
Yeah.
But obviously we did hat shows, but what I mean is like Logs for Rome and stuff like that. But it is what it is. We're back next season, of course, doing stuff there. And like I say, hopefully, I'll be showing a lot more Luton games, so that means more watch-alongs and stuff like that. Obviously, if I'm not going to the games, but more so the midweek games, because obviously, red button and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, man, big up to everyone in the chat. Exactly, stuff like that. Mengi in the Championship. Obviously, you would have seen that, for Birmingham. Now he's playing, obviously for a team that will be in top six. You would think, anyway, or fighting round about top six, at least. So, yeah, Joe Taylor's time to shine. Exactly. Yeah, and you've seen it. The player final, for example. I thought it was phenomenal. The handball was unlucky. He even took a penalty, didn't he? Really composed. Obviously, all of our penalties were, to be honest. But yeah, I just think he's got it in him anyway. Didn't he get the golden boot or whatever at both clubs? He was at Colchester and Lincoln.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think he went to pick one up and then pick the other one up or something like that. It's just madness. So, yeah, I've got faith that he's going to be really good as well. And then going back to Pebble earlier, yeah, again, he will be another player. But shout out to him. So I remember watching the youth team or development squad, shall I say, earlier in the season. And I actually got a picture of him. So, yeah, he obviously said about it. So, yeah, big up to him for that. No, absolutely. I think now is the stage where, we can't sort of roll over. I'll tell you one bit I was always still a bit disappointed with, Jamesbury, personally. I wanted to see at least a mil. I think in the end it was like 750 or something.
Even out of contract.
Yeah, so I mean, even the Mendes Gomez, I know it's Bolton who were in League One at the time, but even that one was a bit gutting to see how much he did go for. But Yeah, I think he might be injured, if I'm correct.
He'll be coming up against him next season.
Yep, probably Collins again. Not sure about Bradley, I'll be honest, but Collins, we could be going up against him.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting. When he was at us, he was my favourite player. Remember that time I had to say his name 3 times to get a picture. When he played well in the friendly. So, yep. Yeah, no, we all know this. We all know this. Big up to Early Doors TV. Big up yourself, mate. Obviously, do subscribe to Early Doors TV as well. I nearly went on it yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't in the end, but I was going to talk about a Luton game from our side of things. But yeah, man, I'm sure I'll come on again at some point. Yeah, mate, let me know. Let me know, and I'm sure I'll make time for that. Yeah, unfortunately, probably won't be, mate, because you know what Southgate's like. He likes to pick players that are in the top 6 teams, even if they're bang average. So there we go. But stupid. We all know he should be in, but he's not going to be, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. Like I always had, like I say, I always had that confidence when you come on in the playoff final and you do what he did. I was like, nah, this guy can actually like make it like proper, like at the top level. Like I do believe that generally. Like if we were to go back up, let's have him in and around it. Definitely, because I've got that much faith in him. And I was a little bit gutted that he didn't, weren't involved in the squad this year for us, but yeah, he will be for sure next year, so that'll be good. Yeah, I remember we were actually bantering around it. I think even I said it to you, Dad. I was like, he's going to score, or you said it to me, or something like that. And yeah, he actually did. That was nuts. Shame it didn't count, but he is obviously a handball in today's rules. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, man, big up. Gonna go watch it. Oh, you're actually going to watch it? Nice. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, it's on Saturday, isn't it? Is that the early kickoff? That is, isn't it? Or is that the League 2 one? I can't remember. Well, one of them is early kickoff. So I will watch it on the Sunday. Yeah, I think it's the League 2 one, because you're saying that's on Saturday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching all of them. Doncaster, man, I was surprised about them. How they ended up losing that. That was crazy. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, it's all interesting. And it actually feels good watching the playoffs, not being nervous. I'll tell you that as well. So yeah, but big up to everyone that's tuned in. Much appreciated. Bit of a longer one today, but thoroughly enjoyed it, of course. Smash a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the channel as well. Few new subscribers over the last couple of days, so do appreciate that. Do make sure you do check out the vlog from home as well if you haven't already. By myself. And yeah, didn't actually even celebrate in the background. But yeah, check that out if you haven't already. And as for content, after this, I'm going to post my Premier League predictions. Obviously, there's 3 rescheduled games, the last load of rescheduled games for the season. So do keep an eye on that. And obviously, Liverpool play tonight. So if you do want to see my prediction for that game, obviously check out that in the community posts. And then yeah, we'll be back again on Friday for the Fulham preview, and then Saturday, not too sure yet. I'll obviously let you know. Oh, sorry, Sunday. Flipping hell, even I'm doing it now. Saturday, I will be doing a watch along to Tyson Fury fight. That's what I'll be doing on Saturday. So yeah, do check that out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Good week, Dad, like you say, even though it's not how we would have wanted it to end. There's positives to look at. You've got a very good boxing fight coming up as well the day before. So yeah, it's still stuff to look forward to, man. So yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. And yeah, until Friday, we'll see you lot in a bit. Take care. Peace.